Hey YouTube, this is Mike Shackelford, also known as the Wizard of Odds, and I'm here today to teach you how to play Pai Gow Poker. And I will be doing it on the demo game found at my website, Wizard of Odds. You're looking at it right now. So Pai Gow Poker is one of the most popular casino games out there, and it's found in every casino in Las Vegas, all over Nevada, California. It's a very popular game, and the reason is that it has a very slow pace in terms of hands per hour, and there's a lot of pushes. So it's a really good game for bankroll longevity. So if you're looking to have a good time at the tables and have your money last a long time, Pai Gow Poker would probably be a good choice of game to play. So to give you a little background, the game was invented by someone named Sam Tarosian, if I'm pronouncing that right, at one of the card clubs in the Los Angeles area in 1985, and it spread all over the place from there. And poor Sam never made any money from it because he never filed a patent on it, which is too bad for him because he would have made a lot of money had he kept intellectual control of his game. So let's get into the rules, shall we? And let's just jump right in and start playing and learn as we go. So I'm going to click on a chip and click bet, and then click deal. And in Pai Gow Poker, everyone gets 7 cards, and they have to be separated into a low hand and a high hand. The low hand is always 2 cards, the high hand is always 5 cards. The dealer does the same thing. So the object of the game is to outrank the dealer in both the high hand and the low hand. If you do, you're going to win even money, less a 5% commission. If you win one way and lose the other, then it's a push. And if you lose both ways, then it's a loss. So we're looking at my 7 cards right here. This is called a Pai Gow hand, meaning you can't even make a pair. Why they call it that, I don't know. But when you have a Pai Gow hand, the correct play is to play the second and third highest cards in the low hand. And the way you use this game is click on the 2 cards you want to put in the low. And the reason you can't say do ace king in the low is the low hand must be lower than the 5 hand. For example, if I click split, the game is going to tell me that I can't do that. So let's try. See, the game rebukes me and says that's not allowed. The low hand must be lower. And if you do this in the casino, that's called fouling your hand, and you'll automatically lose. So be careful not to do that. So click split, and then the dealer plays out his hand, and let's see what happens. The dealer's king queen beat my king 10, so I lost on the low, and the dealer's high hand goes ace 10, mine goes ace 8, so I lost there as well. I barely lost both ways. So bad beat there. So let's go again. Okay, here I got a joker, so let me talk about the jokers a little bit. In Pai Gow Poker, jokers are partially wild. In particular, they can be used to complete a straight or a flush. Otherwise, they're treated as an ace. And why, you might ask, do they have these strange, partially wild rules? I think it's because Pai Gow Poker is based on the game Pai Gow, which is a game with similar rules, but it's played with tiles or dominoes. And in that game, there are 2 partially wild tiles. So I think that the inventor of this game was trying to keep it somewhat close in spirit to the game, to Pai Gow tiles. So the way to play this hand is pretty obvious. I've got a 3 of a kind. The joker is not going to help me to complete a straight or a flush, so therefore it's going to be counted like an ace. So I'm going to play the ace and the king in the low hand and keep the 3 of a kind in the back. So click split, and I win. It's because my ace king outranked the dealer's ace jack, and my 3 8s beats the dealer's pair of 5s. So let's go again. Good, another joker. So let's see if it can help me complete a straight. Yes, it can. I can treat it as a 10 to complete the straight, and that will give me an ace-5 in the low. So that seems like obviously the right play. And I win because, no, that one was a push, because the dealer's ace-queen beats my ace-5, but my straight in the high beats the dealer's pair of tens. So let's play some more hands just to make sure you understand the game. Okay, another joker hand, so I'm going to check if it completes a straight or a flush, and it looks like it does not, so it's going to get treated as an ace. So I have another two-pair hand, and this is a high two-pair hand, and so I'm going to split it apart. And here I have just a single pair, and this you see a lot too, and the strategy is real easy with the pairs. You just play the two highest singletons in the low. Here we've got another pair, so I'm going to play the two highest singletons in the low. Here we've got three pair, so when three pair you play the highest pair in the low. Here we've got another single pair. Now let me tell you about a nice feature of this game. This game follows the house way of one of the casinos. I don't remember which one. I think the Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. And it will, if you set this box here to warn on mistakes, it will do that. So let me show you what will happen if I make a bad play. For example, let's say that instead of playing the highest two singletons, I play the king and the jack. So it should warn me that I made a bad decision. See, there you go. This is not the house way. Are you sure you want to continue? So I'm going to press cancel to show no, I don't want to do that. So here I'm going to play the two highest singletons. And here's yet another hand of a pair. Here we've got a straight, so I'm going to keep that together and play the other two cards in the low. Here we've got another pair, so I'm going to play the two singletons, two highest singletons. Here we've got nothing, so I'm going to play the second and third highest singletons. Here we've got a pair, so I'm going to play the two highest singletons. And again, nothing, so I play the second and third highest singletons. So here's another two pair. So let me pause and tell you the wizard strategy for playing a two pair. So you take the number of points between both pairs, and here's how you calculate the points in a pair. For 2s through 10s, you just take the pip value. Jacks are 11, queens are 12, kings are 13, and aces are 14 points. So here we have 8s and 5s, so that adds up to 13 points. So here is the strategy. If you have 6 points or less, you always keep the two pair together. If you have 7 to 11 points, then you will keep the two pair together unless you can play a king or a singleton in the low hand, in which case that's what you would do. You would retain the two pair and play the ace or the king in the low, as well as the other highest singleton that you can. With 12 to 17 points, you keep the two pair together unless you can play an ace singleton in the low. And with 18 or more points, you always split the two pair. So again, we have 13 points here. That falls in that 12 to 17 range, which says to keep it together unless you can play an ace singleton in the low, which we can. So I'm going to play that ace singleton in the low as well as the second highest singleton and split it apart. And by the way, this is not how the house does it. And sometimes when you play my game, you will get rebuked by the game saying this is not the house way. And if you follow the strategy I just said, stick to it, trust it. It is more powerful than the casino house way, and it's simpler. And here we have another three of a kind. So unless it's three aces, you always play the two singletons, two highest singletons in the low. So let me pause a little bit and tell you a little bit more about strategy. The strategy to Pai Gow Poker is kind of complicated, but the good thing is that if you ever have a tricky situation, you can always ask the dealer, how would the house set this hand? And the house sets their hand correctly mathematically most of the time. Where the house makes mistakes the most often is with the two pairs, and you can always turn your cards over and get advice from the other players. So personally, I don't like Pai Gow Poker that much, and when I get a tricky hand, I will get advice from the other players. If they don't have good advice or there are no other players, I will just go with however the dealer says the house would set the hand. But my book and my website have a lot of information about how to play any kind of hand. So let's see here. This joker cannot help me complete a straight or a flush, so I'm going to treat it as an ace. In which case I've got a pair of aces, so let's play the highest two singletons in the low. So I could keep on playing hands all day long, but let me show you some other resources about Pai Gow Poker on my website. Okay, let's talk about player banking a little bit. And to illustrate the importance of player banking, let's look at this hand right here. You can see that I won the high hand because my two pair beat the dealer's pair of sevens, but the low hand is a tie, or a copy as it's called in Pai Gow Poker. Both have a king 10. So what happens in the event of a copy like this? Well, the answer is that it goes to the banker. So in this case, the dealer is the banker because you see this lammer over here that says banker on the dealer's side. That means that the dealer was banking the hand. Therefore, it's a push. I won the high, the dealer won the low. So, who is the banker, you might ask? Well, almost all the time in actual casino play, the dealer is, because the players either don't even know about this rule about banking or they never ask to do it. And I could talk about this a long time, but I'm going to keep it real short. If you're comfortable betting against the other players, mathematically speaking, you should invoke your right to bank. However, psychologically, the other players may not like it if you invoke that right because they want to play against the dealer, not you. So I will say that if you're playing one-on-one against the dealer, you absolutely should invoke your right to bank. And the dealer will bet against you whatever you bet against the dealer the last hand. So the benefit to banking is that it cuts down the house advantage by about 2.5%, which is great. 2.5% is a lot in the world of gambling. So I'm going to stop it there, but I say much more about player banking on my website. So bottom line, bank when it's your turn and you're comfortable doing so. So now we're at my main Pai Gow Poker page on my website. And I start out by introducing the game, and then I go through the rules of it. And I have a whole separate page about strategy right here. So this shows a really complicated but very close to optimal strategy. But let me go back to the main page. And next I go over the math, and this is really important. So assuming that you are playing the same house way that the dealer is, this shows that when you're not banking, the house edge is 2.72%, meaning you can expect to lose 2.72% of all the money you bet. And when you are banking, the house advantage drops to 0.25%. So it's almost an even game when you're banking. So as I said before, when you win in Pai Gow Poker, you win even money less a 5% commission. But there's some games like Easy Pai Gow that take away this 5% commission rule and you win the full way, but there's a take back. In the case of Easy Pai Gow Poker, it's that if the dealer has exactly a queen high hand, then it's a push. So they're taking a hand where the player would likely win and turn that into a push. And I have collected a number of house ways through the year. If you're curious to see how the dealer plays, for example, let's look at the one real quick by the MGM Grand. So here it goes through just how the MGM plays every possible kind of hand. And here I go through more detail on the odds in Pai Gow Poker, and here's a whole bunch of more pages about Pai Gow Poker, but the one that probably gets the most traffic is this one on side bets. So Pai Gow Poker is replete with side bets. And the players eat these up. I almost never see a player not making them, except myself. But let me cut to the chase with side bets in Pai Gow Poker. They're sucker bets. I would advise you to avoid all of them, and it doesn't matter which one it is. However, if you absolutely must make the side bets, please do so in moderation. They're sucker bets. They're designed to take your money. So again, my advice is to not bet them at all. And that advice not only applies to Pai Gow Poker, but it applies to every single casino game. So let me close this video by saying that it is not my only video on Pai Gow Poker. What you're looking at right now is one I made several years ago. Here I am teaching my friend Angela how to play Pai Gow Poker. To be honest, she already knew, but it's just for dramatic purposes, and the game is dealt by the late, great Dan Lubin. Yeah, I think this video is much better than the one you're looking at now, but I did want to demonstrate that Pai Gow Poker demo game on my site. So that's about it for Pai Gow Poker. I could talk about it all day long. I have way more to say about it on my website at Wizard of Odds. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I'll see you in another video. Bye, YouTube.